depth than anybody in the National Hockey League at every position, with the exception perhaps of goal. Their fortunes are riding on the shoulders of Mike Vernon, just the way they are on Grant Fuhr.
It's for Gerald Diddick. It's for Gerald Diddick. Diddick for the Islanders with 2 minutes and 10 seconds gone in the first period of our game tonight. No score. Puck angled in for Vernon. Wraps it around, and Brent Sutter tried to connect in front, but that went away from Derek King. And it is Hull jamming it back off the glass. Billy Smith able to sweep it along. Colin Patterson in there. Puck taken by big Joel Otto. Centering pass in front and deep behind the net. Merson tries a stopper. Blocked off by Brent Sutter. Now it is Hull. Wanting the puck is Merson, but it comes back to Natras. Hurries it on across, and Natras breaks to the front. Puck off a skate, and then is followed up by Hull. He scores! Brett Hull, 1-0 Calgary.
I think we just got our first look at Calgary's muscle. Even Brett Hull, when he finally got the shot away, had Brent Sutter hanging all over him. That was size and determination that kept getting the puck back for the Flames. Rick Natras had pinched in that time. He wears number 6 for Calgary. Before that, it was Merson. Hull picks up the rebound. You can see that Billy Smith not only is out of position, but has no stick. It was Joel Otto that fed it in front for a pinching Rick Natras, and that is another element that we can talk about that the Flames have. Their defensemen are mobile enough. They're not reluctant to pinch in when they know it's time. Al McInnes, Gary Suter, we saw Merson do it already. We've seen Rick Natras do it already.
Brett Hull played for Terry Crisp in Moncton of the American League last year and tied a league record, scoring 50 goals as a rookie. Puck fired back in. Hull has connected on his 25th goal of the season, and he's not played in all the games, 53 of them. Dineen goes back to gather. We have 3 minutes gone here in the first period. And the puck iced by the New York Islanders will get an icing touch-up made by McInnes. The puck sent over the center red line and the end red line and touched first by the defense.
Brett Hull has opened the scoring here. There he sits. Not bad for a guy that didn't even know he was going to suit up an hour ago. Of course, the Flames, with their depth, end up having to sit some people out. They have at least 4 scratches tonight, and they have a couple of injuries that aren't even here.
Here's Dye with a shot. That ricocheted loose and is played back along by Dale Henry. Henry behind the net, forced one over to Dineen, and Dineen outlets up the wing, and this is the rookie Vakota moving in the right side. Tried to finesse Dye, and the puck tapped away. A penalty coming up, and a shot by Henry hit the post. Loose puck gathered in and worked out to the front. Vakota hustling one toward the net by Basson, and that one blocked and held by Vernon, and now we'll get the penalty call. So it took 3.5 minutes, but the Islanders got an offensive going. It was Mick Vakota moving up the wing to get things started on that. Probably the best chance was one by Henry, which ricocheted off the post. 3 minutes, 41 seconds gone. First period, the Flames lead 1-0.
So the Islanders have applied a little pressure of their own, and Kevin Guy, one of the big guys for Calgary, 15 players over 6 feet tall. That guy is one of them, Kevin Guy.
Guy goes at 6'3", 202. Leiter hands over for the drive by Janssen, and a good stick save by Vernon. Thomas Janssen has really been in hard luck scoring. It is since early November that he last collected a goal. On the year, he has just 3. Billy Smith in the way, and that is going to cost. Interference is the call, and Smith doesn't believe it. Just 20 seconds into his team's power play, it is lost.
You know, you said it's going to cost. It almost cost Joel Otto. He caught him and looked like below the waist. And anytime you get pinched in between the net and a player, you have to make a quick movement. I tore ligaments that way myself. I've seen it a lot. Guys end up trying to squeeze into a space that's too small. Bingo, the ligaments go. Here comes Otto. See, Smith just backed into him, and you can see how he hit Joel Otto right in the thigh pad, just above the knee. That's a pretty good call. Billy Smith, there's little question in my mind from that replay that he did go down and try and give the hit to Joel Otto. I don't think he wanted to make that much contact. Obviously, if he flipped him over the way he did, he knew he was going to get a penalty. Just nudge him, throw him off balance, maybe force him into the net so he gets tangled up in it and hangs himself.
Second-year coach Terry Simpson directing some traffic from the Islanders bench. So both teams will be a man short for 1:40, and then Calgary's impressive power play will have just a 20-second pop, barring any further penalties. Smith watching as the face-off controlled by the Islanders, and Thomas Janssen plays. He's matched up with Conroy. They have LaFontaine working out in front with Makela. And as you'll recall, Bill mentioned those are the two big marksmen for the Islanders. Suter just paused Makela off the play. Puck wound back around, and Hoken-Loop misses to connect with Nieuwendyk, but up the wing and onside, it is Suter hammering one across the goal mouth wide. McCrimmon ties up his man, LaFontaine, and so Vernon comes out and spins it. Lube has to give chase.
I don't think that's a little scary when you're sitting on the bench as a coach and your goalie turns around and shoots it back towards his own net. He's not there.
Nieuwendyk's one-on-one attempt foiled by Conroy. 15:15 to go, first period of play. Calgary's Flames are leading the New York Islanders 1-0. Glad you're with us tonight on ESPN. Our third telecast of NHL hockey in the past 4 days. And a couple of offensive teams with Pittsburgh and Los Angeles, and defense was the rule yesterday in a 5-4 overtime game in our contest at the Spectrum between the Hartford Whalers and the Philadelphia Flyers. At least that was the structure at the outset. A couple of defensive teams that don't usually pop in as many goals as they did yesterday. Islanders are able to control, and this is Ditting hammering when he scores! That iron that you may have heard was at the back.
Man, what a shot. We're not going to be able to show it to you from the angle that we saw Dean Evason score against Ron Hextall yesterday, but as soon as that got by Mike Vernon, it reminded me exactly of a goal that we saw yesterday. It's high and tight to Mike Vernon. What a rocket by Ditting. And, you know, he wasn't even skating towards the goal. Look at Vernon. He's looking back for it. It's tough to shoot it that hard when you're not going directly where you're shooting it. And watch Ditting. He is actually going at right angles to the goal. Look at him. There he's going away from the goal. He's still not moved towards the goal, and he just lets it rip right up over Mike Vernon. Overpowering shot, and it's tied at 1.
Derek King and Brent Sutter get the assist on Dittick's fifth. And the game tied at 1. In 5 seconds, that 20-second power play for Calgary will begin.
You know, the guys in the dressing room will be saying, 5 goals, your 5th goal. How come you don't have more than that with a shot like that? And they'll be kidding him.
Bullard able to step by Conroy, feeds over to Zinelli. With the gun loaded, McGinnis, but it goes the other side to Suter. Then to McGinnis. Over to Zinelli. 3 seconds left on the power play. McGinnis to Zinelli once more. Gives over to Bullard. Looks to Zinelli. Nice hop past Kerr, but play breaks down, and the Islanders able to scoop it out of trouble. Trottier trying to step by Joe Mullen. Nicely stripped of the puck by Mullen, and on with it Tonelli. Big blast blocked off by Dineen. Now it is Kerr stepping back. From Trottier to Derek King. Back to Trottier. His shot blocked off by Vernon. We had a good angle of that. You could see that one headed toward the right side and almost in for the money. As Mullen has that one denied by Finley. 13 minutes, 20 seconds left in this first period tonight from the Nassau County Coliseum, Uniondale, New York. Islanders come into this one 5 away from first, but also in that tight Patrick division, 5 away from the bottom. Puck chopped at, and it came to King. King maneuvers it out to Brent Sutter, then up to Lauer. Diving play made by Natras. Lauer checked to the corner. Brett Hall doing the work on him, and then Sutter comes in and Natras, and they pin it for a halt to play. Brett Hall with his 25th, and Gerald Dittick with his 5th of the year, and our game is knotted. For some reason or other, Calgary last year was the 21st draw on the road out of 21 teams. They had an impressive team last year. This year they are 18th. And I have a feeling that that's going to go a great deal upward next year because of the identification that people will soon have with Calgary because of the Olympics.
You know, one of the problems, I think, Mike, is that they've only been in Calgary since 1980. And I think they're still looked upon as a new team. They don't have the identity of the Detroit Red Wings, the original 6 who've been around for years. But I'm still surprised, as good a hockey team as they have had, that they haven't drawn more.
Play made back and sailed back out by Merzin. So it is Dineen controlling. And Dineen's pass clicked off King. So Mike Vernon out to handle for the Flames. 7.5 gone here in this first period of a 1-1 tie. 2 other games going on in the NHL tonight. Tom Mees will keep you advised of those. They were trying for Lube, but that's broken up by Leiter. And back in is Brent Sutter. Worked over once and twice and continually wrapped up along the boards by Roberts. In speaking with the Islanders, they were saying this is how Calgary likes to work us. They like to really pressure us around the boards and really give us not much of a chance to do anything. Puck played by a high stick and a stoppage of play. One of the Los Angeles Kings said, it seems like when I go back on defense against Calgary, my face is against the glass all night long. The score of our game, 1-1. To play here at the Coliseum in Uniondale. The score 1-1 as Vernon works it along for Tim Hunter. Puck chipped over to Henry, and that one blocked away. Lanny McDonald got a piece of it, and then it ricocheted to center ice. Lanny McDonald celebrating his 35th birthday today. It is Henry guiding one back up for Basson, but he's checked off, and here's McDonald flipping one back in. The big plateau ahead, and he'd just love to reach it this year, is 500 goals. He's 14 away. Billy Smith behind the net, shuttles it off to Diddick, flips back along to Henry. Henry starts it out to Basson. McCrimmon working on defense now, along with Kevin Guy. Basson has a man in front. Henry, he scores!
You got to play a long time in this league till you find yourself as wide open as Dale Henry found himself in front of Mike Vernon. Look at Terry Crisp. How does that happen? Obviously, a miscommunication between the defensemen. Look at Brad McCrimmon and Kevin Guy. They're both over there. One of them had to take him. One of them had to stay back. That didn't happen. Dale Henry got his own rebound. Vernon was able to stop the first one. The Islanders take the lead.
It is McCrimmon and along to Bullard and cleared to center ice. That is a stunning goal for the Flames to yield, and here's Kerr attacking with a drive on Vernon. Now it is Mullen stepping ahead. Along with Bullard, gives it right back to Mullen. Mullen a rising shot, and that went into the seats. Well, it's almost like you're standing at the station holding your ticket in the briefcase, and the train just pulls away and you watch.
Kind of a helpless feeling for Mike Vernon. He is so alone. There are the two defensemen. See them both in red on the right of your screen? Simple miscommunication. One of them has to go over there, and one of them has to take Dale Henry. That's Steve Bozek getting in, as you can see, just a touch late. And Mike Vernon went down on the first one. Had he been able to stand up, he might have had a chance, but pretty tough to ask your goalie to make two of those consecutive rapid-fire saves when that guy is all alone in front.
We mentioned Lanny McDonald a moment ago. He's not on the ice currently. It is Mullen with Bullard at center. Mullen on the right wing, and on the left wing, Tonelli. Have a copy of his recently authored book, and I've seen Bill Clement's name in there several times. Puck ahead with this is Gilbert now. Wedged toward the corner by McCrimmon. And it is punched away by Tonelli. Bullard rifling it back, and around to get it is Tonelli. Mullen waiting, but Tonelli was checked off by the aggressive Alan Kerr. Leiter breaks it away as Bullard wanted to move in. And it is LaFontaine rolling back. Nearing the halfway point of this first period. Glad you're with us tonight on ESPN. The Islanders yielded a goal early to Brett Hull, but are now ahead in the game on goals by Diddick and Henry, 2-1. Deneen wraps one that is kept by Big Dana Merzen. And now it is Mullen flipping, but that ricocheted off Leiter. Gilbert starts back for the Islanders. Met by Mullen and just lifts it in. They wanted to get a shift change on. They have Brett Sutter working with Makala. And they also bring on Derek King. Now the decision made by Natras to clear it back along, and it went by Colin Patterson, but onside is Brett Hull. And that one off Smith and wide. Otto throws one in front, and that tipped across the goal bounce by Smith. Now it is King. And King tried to shuffle one along that's checked away by Otto, and the Islanders shoot it back down the ice. This will be an icing call to stop the big scoreboard clock, as there was offense near Billy Smith, but it's broken by the icing. 9:09 to go in the first. 2-1 the Islanders. Chernamaz are the scratches for Calgary, and Jim Poplinski has gone to the Canadian Olympic team. Up with this now, the Islanders move it out. Captain Brent Sutter crosses with King and steps through. Hits the post with the shot. Sutter trying to follow up, but the Flames are able to step free with it. Colin Patterson giving to Otto and back in. It is Billy Smith sweeping it around. Bill, should we be surprised at some of these chances the Islanders are getting? Here's Hall with one. Oh, what a save by the stickless Billy Smith.
I'm not sure Brett Hall knew he had lost his stick, even though it was Hall that went around behind the net, and I think in a bit of a collision knocked it out of his stick, or out of his hand rather. If Hall knows he doesn't have his stick, he's got to try and shoot it right on the ice. And as high as he shot it, you'd have to think that Brett Hall, as good a goal scorer as he is, didn't know he didn't have his stick. This is a good rush by Brent Sutter at the other end. He looked as if he was going to pass, and he kept giving him that look, that head look. Finally, he broke by Dana Merzen and dinked it right off the post past Mike Vernon.
McGinnis to keep. And it is Lube. Has it taken away by Crom and on to Makela. Shovels for the pump back in by Conroy and flip back out. And the Flames get a break on a bounce off a linesman. Neuendijk, quick shot off the pad of Billy Smith. Puck corralled there by Roberts. Gives it back for Guy's drive. And Smith answers that one. Roberts ties up with Trottier and the puck cleared. Hammered right back in again by Al McGinnis. And Smith, quick with that stick behind the net, slows it for Thomas Janssen. Smith is one of the better goaltenders that has played this game in terms of preventing the stuff attempt. He's very good with the stick, not only in sweeping it at the sides and at the edge of his net, but also out in front.
Wow, tough to get around Brian Trottier. Gary Roberts learned that there. And Billy Smith, too, Mike, really wasn't at the beginning of the season a guy that a lot of people thought the Islanders would have to count on. It was going to be Kelly Rudy all year. But when Kelly faltered, now and again, Billy took his place and has done a great job for the Islanders. Second oldest player in the National Hockey League, also playing out his option this year.
It is Bullard, shouldered by Gilbert. They continue to battle, and Bullard wanted to free it up to the point, but it is LaFontaine moving to Kerr. Then back to LaFontaine. Can't finesse the defensive Suter, but a chance for Kerr. Wheels one, and that one was banked off Mullen. Mullen able to punch it away from LaFontaine and around to Tonelli. But this is Gilbert out in front, and a shot by LaFontaine. The rebound trickled wide. Islanders ahead 2-1 and are getting some attack. 7 minutes to go, first period. Brad McCrimmon lifts it out of trouble. Smith was saying in a recent interview, when asked whether he's going to shoot the puck down the ice and off the glass like Ron Hextall, Bill mentioned his age. Here's Kerr with a shot that deflected to the glass. He said, I'm a little too old for that, but I'd advise any young player coming into the league or any that have been here for a while and aren't too old, they better do it because that's the way the game's going. Oh, what a hit on LaFontaine by Patterson, and Vernon had to hold the side on Kerr's effort.
We saw LaFontaine a couple of weeks ago try to do a spinorama move that was successful, other than the fact he didn't score on it, and it happened from that very spot. He tried to dash back out front. That time Colin Patterson was coming and half-level LaFontaine, but he's become a more sturdy player. You know that, Mike, each year that he's been in the league. And Terry Simpson now has him playing a more physical style of hockey. Not that he is a rough player out there, but at certain times, Pat LaFontaine now knows, having played for Terry Simpson, that he has to play a physical game. And a lot of it he learned from watching his great teammate, Brian Trottier.
Recent game this weekend, he and Kelly Kissio were playing it physically all night long. A couple of mighty mites just really hammering at one another. Puck tipped out. Flames try to send further, but it is advanced the other way by Diddick, and then flipped back in by Merzen, who sprawls. Brent Sutter has King in motion to his left. Moves in and gives it back to Crom for a shot that is blocked away, and then Vernon steps out, but Diddick is waiting. Diddick fires one, and that one is trapped by Vernon. 5 minutes, 55 seconds to go in the first. Hull for Calgary, Diddick and Henry for the Islanders.
Delivery, and they shoot the puck harder than they've ever shot it in their entire careers, and they end up scoring on it. Players say, man, why don't you shoot it like that all the time? Simple fact is, they can't.
Just a matter of physical skill. Is that it?
No, it's a matter of just teeing it. It's like that drive. It's like that 340-yard drive that you happen to hit the one time in your 10th year. Well, okay, the 240-yard drive. Okay. Whatever.
Here is Neuendijk moving to the front, but is chased to the corner, and now it is Lube centering. Billy Smith scoops it for Trottier. mentioning Diddick. He was a first-round draft pick of the Islanders, and we mentioned their draft choices only because few teams in the league can put as many of their own picks in the lineup as the Islanders. Tonight, out of 20 men on the roster, 16 were Islanders draft choices. This is Leiter starting back in the final 5 minutes of this first period. We hope you're enjoying this one. As Leiter moves through, the play made back over to Basson. Basson had to duel with McCrimmon, and it's sent along for Tim Hunter. Hunter has Lanny McDonald in stride and hands to him. McDonald trying to get by Dineen. Puck knocked loose by Leiter, and we get a stoppage of play. And now Tim Hunter pawing at Vakota.
It was Vakota that took Hunter down, though, coming back into the zone. They went down on a heap right in front of Billy Smith, and when they got up, Vakota made a motion to drop his gloves. Hunter didn't go for it, kind of lulled Vakota into a second of relaxation, and then drilled him with a straight left. The setup.
You know, if they ever introduced the sport of ice boxing into the Olympics, I think Hunter would be one of Canada's representatives, wouldn't he?
Ice boxing. I like that. In bare feet to make it more interesting. Kickboxing on ice. Here they are matched up again. But Tim Hunter won't deny a challenge a second time. If Vakota wants him, he'll be able to get him.
And that's how close they are for the start of this. Basson on the face-off test with Bozak. And now Basson waved, and so Henry will come in as Bozak wins. Sutter flips, and turning to get it is Leiter. Leiter with his team ahead in the game, 2-1, connects to Henry, then on from Dineen, working it onto Vakota, who drops for Basson. It'll be Henry moving in, but there first is Vernon. Henry anticipated well and put that one right in front. McDonald hit hard by Vakota.
He didn't see him coming at all. I'm trying to figure out why. He was almost coming in a straight line where Lanny was trying to pass it, but did he ever hit him?
Going back for this now as McCrimmon brushes it away from Henry. That's got to be the most solid hit I think we've had in the first 16 minutes of this game, and we would expect that the more solid hits just from reputation would have come from the team in red. LaFontaine plays it in deep. McCrimmon took him to the boards, and now it is McDonald, but away from that. A penalty coming up. It'll be interference with 3:48 to go in the first period. Islanders have the lead.
The NHL in the second period. Winnipeg leads Quebec 3-2 on a goal by Dave Ellett, and just underway, Buffalo and St. Louis. No score early first period. Let's get back to Long Island. Mike and Bill.
Power play about to heat up for the Islanders for the second time in the game. In the season series, both teams have a win at home, and the Islanders on the power play against Calgary are 2 for 11, this being their 12th effort. Joel Otto for the face-off opposite Pat LaFontaine. Won by LaFontaine, played by Finley, over to Diddick. Diddick controls and passes to Trottier. Oh, taking some heat at the front of the net is LaFontaine being worked over by Natras and now being hit by Merzin. Finley fires, score! Could be Trottier on the tip. 3-1, the Islanders.
And it might be Trottier on the tip, but we talked about Pat LaFontaine playing a more physical game. He knocked Dana Merzin right on his face in front of the net, giving away about 25 pounds, and ended up all alone screening Mike Vernon. Good working around by the Islanders. The Flames are forcing. There's the shot. See Merzin go down? See who's standing. Pat LaFontaine is still standing, and Dana Merzin had to sit on his knees, or at least remain on the ice kneeling. It was Pat LaFontaine that deflected it after he'd actually pushed Merzin to the ice.
Boy, did he earn that one. His 34th of the season. And the Islanders are ahead in the game, 3-1. Now moving back up is John Tonelli. Tonelli tried to feed in front, but Bullard was just muscled off by Conroy, and the net became dislodged as Bullard was ridden into it.
Islanders goal is 20th of the season, scored by number 19.
Did I just write numbers down? Oh, it is Trottier who gets the goal.
Well, they gave it to Trottier, but did it not look to you as if LaFontaine had deflected?
I thought it was, honestly, I thought there were two deflections there. I really think that LaFontaine got the second one. And so we'll make that Trottier's 20th until we hear differently.
Bit of a homecoming for Joe Mullen, who grew up in Hell's Kitchen district of New York City. There's Brian Trottier. Boy, when you think of the Islanders, it's difficult not to think of Brian Trottier. So many great years here.
There's Mullen trying to hammer one around, but is ridden off by Gilbert, and the play made to LaFontaine. Passes on to Janssen. Janssen moves toward Guy. Once Kerr was able to just hack one that Joe Mullen will go in deep to play. Took the shoulder of Gilbert. Islanders are playing the body well in this game, following through, and there's a giveaway, and Kerr fired it wide. Tonelli flips. Fuller tries to take, but it is punched away by Janssen. As animated and as emotional as Terry Crisp is, 2 minutes and 30 seconds away, could be a lot of chatter down below. Offside pass.
A lot of chatter down below. Here's Pat LaFontaine. We think just scored, but it doesn't matter. If you're a New York Islander and you're in the situation the Islanders are in this Patrick division, it doesn't really matter who scores them at this time of year. And the thing that is so interesting about the Patrick division is, I think that right down to the wire, we will have teams in the last couple of weeks that have a shot for first place and also have a shot at being out of the playoffs. It's going to be that tight. Birthday boy, Lanny King McDonald. He is an automatic Hall of Famer in my mind, and a guy that should make the off-ice Hall of Fame too. Name a charity, and Lanny McDonald, I think, has been involved in it at one point in his career.
It was once well said, too, Bill, I think a few seasons back, that if you were going to send a van out to do goodwill work for the sport of hockey, and as it's played in the NHL, that Lanny McDonald would be in the front seat next to the driver.
Now, knowing Lanny, he'd probably be driving it, too. You know that?
Trottier got away from Sutter's check, what?
He'd say, give the driver the day off. I'll take care of his job, too. He really is that kind of guy. He's larger than life when it comes to his off-ice activities to try and help people.
I've got a question sometime tonight about an incident in the locker room he details in his book, trying to break up another player, get him to laugh, but that's later on. Here comes Trottier, passes on to Makela, then along to Trottier, and it is lost to Sutter, and he was tripped up with Trottier, so it'll be a power play. A minute and 33 seconds to go in the first period. Islanders have the lead at 3-1.
There's Mike Vernon. He and his #1 ranked Flames of the National Hockey League could find themselves in a bit of a bind here. Gary Roberts has just gone off for tripping, and this gives the New York Islanders another power play. We're down to a minute and 33 to go. The Islanders already lead 3-1.
Natras able to clear. Gives us a chance to set the Islanders for you on the power play. They'll use Diddick at one-point position, and on the opposite side, they'll be going with the rookie Finley. It is Sutter moving ahead. He has Lauer on one wing, and the man with the puck, Kerr, or rather King, on the other. Here is Sutter, and he had Lauer all alone and saw him, but couldn't get it through Natras. And again, an Islander was at the front of the goal. This time, Calgary unharmed by it. A minute to go in the first period, 3-1. The Islanders are ahead. The pass comes over to Diddick. Fires one. Pad stop. Vernon. Rebound in front. Big football pile up, and we get a stoppage of play.
Well, Brent Sutter didn't get a second chance at that one, did he? We've seen a goal with one of the Islanders standing so alone in front of the net, he was able to get his own rebound. But more times than not, that kind of clearing happens, especially on the power play. The defensemen back there are just throwing bodies around left and right.
During the intermission, we will hear another in the series of Rewind. Gee, those are entertaining. Men from the past in the NHL spinning some old stories. And Gordie Howe will be along on Rewind. A closer look at this impressive Calgary Flames unit that is leading in its division by 3 points over Edmonton. And, of course, as always, Tom Meese and the Bud Light scoreboard. Leiter controlling with 45 seconds to go. Across now to Janssen. Then Makela. Makela watched by Bozek. Moves closer. Back to Janssen. Then over to Leiter. What a sparring match in front as the shot is just snatched out of the air by Vernon.
I like what the Islanders are doing on this power play. They've got an umbrella set up with Makela on one side, Thomas Janssen right dead center, and Leiter over on this side. Both of the Flames defenders committed to the far side of the umbrella. That left this man open enough to move in, and you could see room on that side, couldn't you?
Yeah.
I think Leiter had a little more room up high, but it's a tough shot to execute. You got to be a sniper to be able to blast it from there right up over Mike Vernon's shoulder.
Bill, did you have to play the front on the power play at any time in your career? right at the front door.
I never played the power play in my career. I can't remember playing it once.
I was just going to ask you about the punishment that those guys are taking there. And those are from big men in front. Dana Merzen when he's leaning on you. But, of course, you saw the leverage of LaFontaine when the goal was scored a moment ago. Here's a play in front. LaFontaine scores! 4-1, the Islanders. Another power play goal.
I got to tell you, Pat LaFontaine is simply owning the front of the net in spite of the fact that two guys twice his size, Rick Natras and Dana Merzen, are out there trying to take care of him. He gets loose behind Natras this time. You could see Natras trying to get back into the play. Dana Merzen had committed to the corner. Natras had sagged way over to this side. We'll see if we can get a look in front of the net. Merzen, Natras, both on the right. You see all the Flames in red on the right? You can't be that far over to one side. You have to protect that outside post as well. LaFontaine knows that. He played it well. Islanders have a commanding lead. Here we go. We're at the end of the first period now. 4 seconds to go.
Much will be said at one end in the locker room. And perhaps much at the other, but a lot of self-encouragement, a real confidence builder for the Islanders here.
You bet. And I know that Terry Christmas is going to be all over the guys in red for, if nothing else, the mental mistakes. A couple of these goals, players were left wide open in front of Mike Vernon.
The Islanders have outshot the Flames in the first period, 18-6. They lead in the game, 4-1.
February 1st to the Devils.